Forget double digits. Washington might be a 13-win team this year. Step into my office. Welcome into Denton's office, your favorite weekly Commanders YouTube show. I don't have much. I got a microphone, I got a marker, and I got a whiteboard. And only important people have whiteboards. I was not joking at the beginning. Washington can win 13 games this year. Can you imagine that? They can win 13 games this year. And I'm going to show you how. So this is the schedule for the rest of the season, right? We already know what they are. They're 7-2. They have a great offense. A couple days ago, Adam Peters got on the phones, got in the kitchen, and decided to get better on defense. Getting Marshawn Lattimore is going to be huge because now you have a guy that's a legit number one corner that if you look at some of these games here, particularly these two, you have a guy that can guard A.J. Brown, so that way you don't got to put Emmanuel Forbes out there or Benjamin Sage saying, like, you have a guy that can say, all right, I want you to go follow that big, really good dude over there. And you can look at that with a couple of these other games. Drake London, if he's playing there. Dallas with C.D. Lamb, although Dallas is a train wreck, which is beautiful. Maybe even George Pickens with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you got a lot better on defense. Still got to fix the run game. That is worrisome with some of the teams that are on this schedule, but we'll get there. So here's what we're going to do first. I'm going to cross off some games here that we know are dubs. I got the red marker, so you'll be able to see. This is going to be the fun part and the easy part. So here we go. Dallas. We don't think Dak Prescott's going to play, even if he does. Dub. They stink. Tennessee. Dub. They stink. Don't really need an explanation there. Have you watched their quarterbacks? New Orleans. Dub. They stink. Don't really need an explanation there. Have you watched their quarterbacks? That's kind of a trend here, right? So just with that, that's 10 wins for Washington. Right off the bat. You got a game against Dallas that you're going to win. You got a game against Tennessee that you're going to win. You got a game against New Orleans that you're going to win. You're 10 wins in. I have only seen 10 wins. I have never seen more than that in my lifetime. And you have 5 other games here. They're not losing all 5 of those games. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say this game against Dallas. Dub. Dallas sucks when they're playing for things. What is it going to be like when they're not playing for things? Not good. That's a dub. That's 11 wins. So now you got 4. You got the 2 games against Philadelphia, and those might be the most important as far as the divisional race is concerned. But I would also argue if you're going to win 13 games, you don't necessarily need these. Can you imagine winning 13 games and then getting second in the division? It feels like it's difficult to do. So we'll get to them in a second because those are the biggest ones. You got the game against Pittsburgh. You got the game against Atlanta. Atlanta is an interesting one because Kirk Cousins is starting to play really good football. However, defensively, they stink. They cannot stop anybody. And when Jay Daniels comes to town, particularly when he's come to town maybe with a first-round bye on the line, because that's really what you're going to be getting to here. If you're already going to have 11 wins, which I predict they will, I'll get there. When you're already going to have 11 wins by the time you get to this one, you're going to be playing for the potential of a first-round bye. You're going to need a little bit of help from people that are on the schedule of the Detroit Lions, certainly. You need them to lose. Right now, they are the top of the class in the NFC. But if you split the games with Philly, and you already got 11 wins coming into this one, you're going to be playing at a rate that Atlanta is not going to be able to hang with. Can this offense score 30 points? Yes, they can. Can they do it on a regular basis? No, they cannot. That makes that a dub. If you can't score 30 with Washington, you cannot win. I know they didn't score 30 against the Giants this past weekend. They could have. They can score 30 on any given weekend. And this defense is not very good. That's a dub. So here we go. That's already 12 wins. And I understand this is the NFL. Things can happen. Things can get out of whack here. This game is fascinating to me. This game is fascinating because defensively, Pittsburgh, as we know and as we have known for 20 years, they're really, really good on defense. They got TJ Watt. I don't know what Washington is going to do to stifle TJ Watt. What I do know, though, is that they're going to do something. And that's not a confidence that I had last year. I have that confidence because they didn't give up a sack against the New York Giants. That's one of the best teams in the NFL in getting after the passer. Earlier this year, Myles Garrett was here. He was a non-factor in the game. Washington and the offensive line coaching staff, and maybe even to an extent Cliff Kingsbury in the way that he is scheming around certain defenses that have guys that are legitimate game wreckers, they aren't giving up sacks. They are not allowing guys that are great at wrecking games to wreck the game, which means if you can't wreck the game and your quarterback in Russell Wilson right now is on a fairy tale because he is not as good as he has looked, we're going to make that a dub. And there's nothing better. There is nothing better than beating those idiots with those stupid towels. All right. That's 6 wins. That is already 13 wins for Washington. And then you just get to these two. This is the one that I'm nervous about. So we're going to say that's an L. You're going on the road to Philly, short week. I don't know how integrated into the system Marshawn Lattimore is going to be. I'm not sure. So I'm going to say that that one is an L. Philly's playing really, really good right now, but you have the benefit of the back end of your schedule picking up some W's. And then, well, let me redraw the question mark. My old left-handed ass over here. That's a question mark. I don't know how that game's going to look, but I think, as you can also see, that game might not really matter. Because, again, you have the benefit of a bit of a weaker schedule and some games here. So with this one being an L, with this one not being 100% sure, you already have 13 wins so long as you beat Pittsburgh. If you beat Pittsburgh, get to 8-2, we're not talking NFC East. Yeah, it'll be a conversation, but at that point, your focus is then on the bye. Can you get to the point where you don't have to play in the wild card? Can you get to the point where you're going to be playing at home? We'll see if Northwest Stadium really can get rocking at home. I think it will. If you get to a point where you get a playoff game at home and the first playoff game at home is the divisional round, I think Northwest Stadium is going to be rocking. But this is 13 wins right here. Obviously, the bye, you're not going to win or loss on the bye. This is 13 wins with the potential of 14. But you really just got to start with these idiots. You beat those idiots, and you're going to be cruising to a winning season that you have not seen since 1991. And we all remember, or y'all remember, and I just know because I was not born then. But we know how that season turned out. And that season turned out pretty good. Thoughts on this? Hit me in the comments. You can tweet me at the Denton Day. Thanks for coming into my office. Now get out.